Digital engines roar, lights go green in this virtual world. I'm a racing machine, quads, sort of racing, chasing that dream. Tracks blends and pixels, lap count screen. Tires burn neon night, ain't no stop. Sweat drips like raindrops, top of the crop. Controller, clutch tighter, never flop. Speed on my mind to the last pit stop. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the top of the stack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack. Circuits blur in a dance of light. Every lap pushing harder might just take flight. Real-time battles, every turn's a fight. Champions heart keeps us in the light. Vision grind, yet we push through. Racing for glory, win who knew. From zeros to heroes, this crew grew. Next generation champions will break through. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the top of the stack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the top of the stack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the top of the stack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack. Yeah. In the QSR chase, we got no slack.
Well, here we are for another season, and it's a reset. A new car, a new venue. Here tonight, on a Tuesday, we're going to revamp QSR in the Next Gen Series. Live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, it's QSR Chase for the Cup. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. And all season long, we've been talking about QSR coming back. They've been on about a 3-month hiatus, and they come back here in the top of the line, next generation stock car. Last season in the Generation 4 car, we saw a lot of turbulence. We saw a lot of guys trading back and forth in victories. This season, it's going to be a whole different ball game. This car handles completely different from its wedged out counterpart back in 2007. This car, the more modern technology, 5-gear transmission, and they're no longer carbureted. Direct fuel injection on these machines. Dumbed down on the horsepower, but they're very aero dependent. Here today at Daytona, you're still going to see speeds over 190 miles per hour. They will be able to bump draft each other. On the outside is going to be where you're going to see the biggest runs. A lot of guys going to take that high line here at Daytona, and we'll probably see 3 and 4 wide. A quick look at Daytona International. 31 degrees of banking, 18 degrees on the tri-oval front stretch. Of course, 2.5 miles. We've seen it a lot here this week on V-Speed. It's kind of an opener for every league that we broadcast for, and a lot of leagues starting up here in the month of February. In fact, the real-life stock car and NASCAR will be at Daytona in just this weekend and next week. So be sure to tune in for that. A quick look at the schedule here as we go from Daytona to Auto Club. It's a very NASCAR 2004 feeling here on the schedule, and I must say I do enjoy that. A lot of variety through that regular season from Watkins Glen and Bristol, Michigan, some of my favorite racetracks throughout history. As we get set to grid here, let's take you trackside now and get that information up on your screen. Starting on the pole here tonight and electing 49.565. It's Waylon Turner in the number 1. Austin Dowdy will start to his outside in the number 8. It appears my trading paints has stopped working, so I'm going to try to get that sorted out as fast as possible. But the next row belongs to Ethan Wisnowski. Alan Dobbs will start in the 4th position. Galen Wunsch and Jesse Gordon for row number 3. Then it's Brandon Yates and Tony Brennan in 7th and 8th. 9th spot goes to Mitchell Costner. And rounding out your top 10 is Christian Ruck-Riegel. Brent Allen and Randy Saleh will start 11th and 12th. 13th goes to Ryan Philbrick, David Killaw in 14th. Daniel Molnex and Nicholas Caldwell, 15th and 16th. And Greg Pillar, Mike Petrin in row number 9. Michael O'Neill and Tristan Pina will round out your top 20. We got a few more cars left here on the screen, but we're going to get ready to go racing. Let's set it off for the Next Gen Series, live from Daytona. Green flag is out, and we're underway. Austin Dowdy will lead lap number 1. Comes by the outside. Your pole sitter falls back. Waylon Turner back to 3rd now. They fall in line single file. The outside starting to build traction again here. I believe that is the 10 of Jesse Gordon on the high line, getting a push from Brandon Yates, rather, in the 15. So I think I got everyone's paints loaded here, and I apologize if that didn't happen. Trading Paints has had a couple updates for me and kind of broke some stuff. I didn't launch with my PC today, so apparently there's some setting issues that I'll have to work out. However, we are in session. We are here at Daytona. Brandon Yates has a connection issue there briefly. Blinks out, but comes back, thankfully, in the position he was in and not with a car driving through him. I know very dangerous moments there when you're relying on that car in front of you to push. You can see the momentum build back up here. On the outside again. The high line kind of where you want to be, but I think once Yates and Gordon get up here to about the 3rd position, they're going to start to struggle a little bit. I think the car's going to get too hot. That pushing car there in the back, the 15, is just going to get too warm before he can push up there. He's going to have to keep breathing this thing, and now you see the 54 of Alan Dobbs move up to the outside. He wants to get a push from the 10 machine of Gordon. And Gordon will leave him out to dry. Jesse Gordon found a way to the front anyway. They do a trade in the 15. Brandon Yates follows him down to the inside. A little bit further back here, we've got Quentin Stewart. He's on the inside line now. Actually taking the outside. New paint scheme here that I'm not used to seeing on Quentin Stewart in the 99. Worked his way up 14 spots to be here now. From 22nd to 7th Easy to do here in Daytona if you know what you're doing. And obviously, Quentin Stewart knows how to get around this place. This next-gen car also fantastic for getting a run on the outside of somebody, quickly making a move to fill a hole or a gap where a guy makes a mistake or loses the draft. And if you know what you're doing, you can get up on the bumpers, get up on the wheel, and drive this thing to the front within 5 laps easily. And you see that right here. He's all the way up to third now. Briefly there as they cross the line, he was door-to-door with the 06 of Ryan Philbrick. The outside starting to prevail, and that's what you're going to see now. I think these guys are going to stay on this high line. Wouldn't see why they would drop down. They can pinch and side draft the inside, pull them back every time they make any progress. It's going to be really difficult for Philbrick and the 13 of Brent Allen to have any chance to get up there. So we got a few drivers with driver cameras out here. The first ones that we can talk about is that 13 of Brent Allen. There he is right on board with him on the gyro cam. This is his helmet. This is exactly what Brent Allen is seeing right now as he pushes the 06 of Philbrick. I'm surprised this inside did get it going. Wasn't seeing a lot of pinching here in the corners. Now trying to pull him back. I think it's too little too late here for the 54. Inside has the advantage coming out of 4. I think Philbrick is going to lead this time by, and he will. So Ryan Philbrick, another big gainer, 12 positions, started back in 13th. He's the lead for the second lap, led now on lap number 8. Ethan Wisnowski a little bit deeper in this field, down 10 positions. No one's worked with the 5 really at all here yet. It's on board with Wisnowski now. So as we ride through this race, you're going to see a lot of comers and goers, but we've stayed clean and green. The big development is going to be who gets on and off of pit road the cleanest. You can see the focus here, the checkups, a lot of checking up here. And there's a caution out somewhere on the racetrack. Looks like Ruck Regal and Greg Pillar have problems. Ruck Regal, heavy front end damage, as with Greg Pillar as well. Maybe bump drafting gone wrong. Take you back. RV Speed Instant Replay. Try to find out what happened here. And I'm not really sure what happened. If that was Greg Pillar losing... Somebody lost control of their car here. Into the wall. And I think it was the 2 machine of Larry. Yeah. McKellen lost control there. Back us up again. I'm not entirely sure what happened to the 2 car. He just snapped into the wall. The screen went black. I'm not entirely sure, but he locks it down and nowhere to go for these guys. So 10 laps on this stint, then opportunity to come in and top off with fuel if you're brave enough. But I think track position here, some of these guys are going to factor that in and probably stay out. Looks like the 99 of Quentin Stewart fakes down pit road. But so far, we're going to stay on the racetrack. at least for the top 10. But don't go anywhere. Still got plenty of racing left to be done here on V-Speed at the World Center of Racing. You are watching QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup Next Gen Series. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Digital engines roar, lights go green in this virtual world. I'm a racing machine, caught, sort of racing, chasing that dream. Tracks blend to pixels, lap count screen. Tires burn neon night, ain't no stop. Sweat drips like raindrops, top of the crop controller. Clutch tighter, never flop. Speed on my mind to the last pit stop. Eyes on the prize.
Back here live at Daytona. Getting ready to get to that restart zone. Turn 1 Tsunami's restart zone going to be used for the second time today. We have Alan Dobbs and Nicholas Caldwell up on the front row. Quite a few big gainers here in this row. 14 positions for Nicholas Caldwell, and then you have 17 spots gained for Quentin Stewart in the 5th position. Wyatt Walker also up about 15 positions. 17 positions actually for Wyatt Walker. It's a lot of big movers up here in the top 10. Mike O'Neill has gained 9 positions to be up here in 10th, so as we get set to go back green, looking to continue that progress to the front for some of these cars. And from the drivers that have lost a lot of spots, you got Galen Wunsch in the 199, has lost 19. He's all the way back to 24th position. But here we go, pace cars off into the Turn 1 Tsunami's restart zone. We're back live and racing. And that's a bit of a jump out there on the restart for Alan Dobbs. Not sure if that was too much. Looks like it's okay so far. But how about that car off the racetrack in the background there? That's Michael O'Neill. Drops to the back of the field. And I think he lost the draft here. driver that I've been paying close attention to in this race is Tristan Pina. And Pena probably is going to work his way to the front in the second half of this race. He's been quiet sitting back here about where he started. Just trying to avoid those crashes. But I would venture to say that it's just a matter of time before you see that number 50 work its way to the front. But who is working their way up front? Quentin Stewart to the inside. He's looking to take the lead here on lap 14, and a big crash behind. Somehow we stay green, and now the yellow flag does fly. Damage 98. Left front completely destroyed. And that's going to do it for Michael O'Neill. John, well, Dyka is, I mean, he's pretty much destroyed the front end of that car. Let's go back on the replay and take a look at this. To the inside of the 15, and that's where it starts. Gets into the outside wall, and quite a few cars damaged from that. The 00 as well. Randy Swale gets a piece of that. Let's go on board with him. Thankfully, some of these drivers still have their fast repairs. And we're starting to see them get used up here. 16 laps into this event. Brent Allen takes over the point. Quentin Stewart was trying to surge there on the inside just as that yellow flag came out. I guess now we have that opportunity. A lot of drivers sticking to their strategy they originally had to start this race out. I think what we're going to do here is find a driver to talk to. I think we're going to find Cavalier Racing driver Quentin Stewart in the 99.
Hey, what's going on, bro? Bradley? Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah, Next Gen Series off to a great start. Only 2 cautions so far, but new paint scheme, kind of a new atmosphere, and a new car for you guys. How's it working for you so far?
Man, I'm loving it. It's, you know, these next gen cars can really take a good bump, so it really allows you to push your teammates when you want to. Cavalier Racing, we're me and Brent are up here at the front right now, gonna try to control this pack and go from there. But I'm gonna have to wrap this one up early. I've got to do some race control stuff. But Brad, I appreciate the conversation, and it's great to be back here on V-Speed.
Right on, man. Good luck. That's Quentin Stewart in the number 99. He's restarting from the second position. Also running some race control there. You can only imagine trying to do that while driving. A lot of the thankless jobs here of running a league. Responsibilities you got to have to keep things flowing. So they're trying to sort out that second caution of the night. We'll take another quick break here on V-Speed. You're watching QSR Chase for the Cup. More coverage right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Daytona, Brent Allen will be your leader for this restart. Quentin Stewart on the outside, Alan Dobbs, Wyatt Walker, and Nicholas Caldwell will be the top 5. Austin Dowdy, now 4 positions, but still in the top 10. Starting in 6th here on this 3rd restart of the night. Ryan Philbrick in the 06 will be in the 7th position. Waylon Turner, Ethan Wisnowski, and Jesse Gordon for the top 10. Here we go. Turn 1 Tsunami's restart zone. Brent Allen gonna take the front command of this field. Cavalier Racing. And you have turn 1 Tsunami starting to team up just behind them. Green flag back underway at Daytona. Car off the track into the wall. Michael O'Neill. Gets it going on the bottom. The 54 of Dobbs giving him the push. Gets the 13 out, a couple car lengths ahead here on this restart. And a car gets turned. That's Walker. And Stewart just barely escapes that. It happens right behind him, and the 06 is around. Ryan Philbrick. We've got quite a few cars collected in this one. I'm trying to find here who exactly was the start of this. Let's go back on the instant replay. It starts somewhere just behind the 99 of Stewart, and I want to say maybe the 85. Wyatt Walker. We have the 8 of Dowdy just behind him. And out of turn 4, just gets a little sideways. A lot of big moments there. Drivers trying to avoid this. Wisnowski gets a piece of it as well. We'll go right on board with him. There's nowhere to go for Wisnowski here. The 86 gets into the side of the number 5, and that Prime Ice Pop machine He's going to have to repair some of that damage. Going to try to keep that fast repair in his back pocket. He'll bring it down pit road. Looks like a little bit of left front damage on that 5. Wait and see if he uses that fast repair. Damage pretty bad here on the steering. Usually you get a meatball flag for that. So once you get a meatball flag, it's time to use that fast repair. So I have to wait and see if the 5 is going to try to repair that damage the old-fashioned way. And while we wait for that, we're going to try to pull him up into the booth here. Ethan Wisnowski, it's Bradley Cooper in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
What's up, man?
I hope I didn't make you leave your pits there.
No, I was trying to see if I could get my fast repair get used. But...
Well, I figured you would try to use it here. You're going to come back around the racetrack, but it looks like the left front on that thing is pretty much cooked. Not the start you wanted to this race, but I know that at this point it's kind of survival.
Yeah, just going to try and survive. I'm going to have to ride in the back for a little while and make what I can of it at the end. Cost us some points there for the stage, but...
Well, Ethan, I know you sound a little bummed here, but go ahead and shout out anybody that you want to thank or anybody that's watching here tonight.
Yeah, big shout out to the admin team and the Turn 1 Tsunamis.
Appreciate that. We'll get you back down there, and good luck, man.
Thank you.
Ethan Wisnowski in the number 5. Going to try to use that fast repair this time around. Brent Allen still on the front row as we double back up. '54 of Dobbs on the outside. Quentin Stewart and Nicholas Caldwell just behind that. See Quentin Stewart get a little bit better of a restart this time around. Wasn't the best restart, but we'll wait and see. And as this race progresses, you're going to have multiple different drivers working through the field, and as we said before, a lot of big movers. We're up here in the top 10. Quentin Stewart still up 18 spots. Austin Thomas has now gained 18 positions to be up here in 7th. So a lot of cars that were outside of this top 20 even have worked their way up here. And the 35 doesn't have a number stamp on it. To wait and see. Have to work on that, but looks like that car was uploaded as a non-stamped car. Needs an iRacing number on it to officially be completed. All right, turn 1 Tsunami's restart zone. After that stage, we're getting set to go back green. .58 laps to go from Daytona. Dobbs, and Now the 54 to the outside. They're going to leave that car out to dry, but looks like the 10 of Jesse Gordon sees that, drops down behind him as he's going to try to push. The 11 was not clear. Tried to drop down in front of the 13. And now the 11 of Nicholas Caldwell will fall back. They're still fighting amongst themselves up here in the top 5 positions, trying to decide who will lead this thing. Caldwell left out to dry the 13 to the outside. He gets really loose there in the 3 and 4. Tries to pull side draft off of the 54. He'll have a big surge of speed, drops down in front. Caldwell almost goes with him there. That's actually Thomas on the outside, and Thomas is around. He drops down in front of the 10. What a save here. No, they won't save it. Caution is out. And the 10 of Jesse Gordon actually drifts up there into the side. Looks like the 10 comes up the racetrack. We'll go back one more time here on the blimp camera. You're going to see him move to the outside. That's the 35 without the number stamp of Thomas. And Jesse Gordon through the tri-oval here. You see a little touch there on the 54, but that's not what causes this. The 10 comes up the racetrack and gets into him. And then it's just dominoes from there. The 11 involved. Nicholas Caldwell. Minor damage on most of these cars, but you had the 99 of Quentin Stewart. We'll ride with him here. This all happens right in front of him. And Stewart pretty much gets through that without much damage. But it's after the fact there with Caldwell. Let's go back one more time. You see here with Caldwell, he comes down back across the racetrack into Stewart. That car pinned up against the wall there. That was the 54. Wow. Right in front of the nose of the 20. That brings us down pit road, though. A lot of drivers topping off with fuel. Down and away here for Tristan Pena. He's going to take the lead from the 20th position. Says he's had enough. 11 seconds in the box, and he'll take over the top spot here for this next restart. So it's Pena, Gordon, Allen, Molnix, and Yates for the top 5. First time we've mentioned this name really tonight is Daniel Molnix. Started back at 15th. He's ran a quiet race so far. It's the first time up in the top 5 for that number 6 machine. And one of the favorites to win this championship. Remember back in the Xfinity Series, racing against this guy, and always a top 5 threat at the 1.5 miles. This track more of a gamble, but still. With the dice roll, there's a chance. Molnick's put on one heck of a finish there. Back in the Xfinity Series. At Talladega. 4 wide at the finish line, separated by about 6 1/1000ths of a second amongst those top 4 drivers. Fantastic show for QSR. Pena is going to start on the inside. 13 of Brent Allen, who's been up front for quite some time, will be to his outside. Early exits for the day for Michael O'Neill. McKellen also out. Lonnie Joyner 26 laps down here. I believe Joyner could be race control. Not 100% sure on that, but obviously the 24. Nonetheless, he's that many laps down, so. Let's get ready to go back green here at Daytona. Not quite at the halfway mark just yet. See that pace car pull off here this time by. And into that turn 1 Tsunamis restart zone we go. 50 command car into turn 1, back underway for race 1. Daniel Molnick works his way to the inside of Brent Allen up to P2. He's going to get on the back bumper, and the 6 is going to give a shove to the 50 down the backstretch. They get locked up, but so does the outside line. Not sure who's going to lead this time by. It looks like the 50's got it by about 7/100ths of a second. He will get it. The surge back on the outside is the 15 of Brandon Yates. Tries to shove the 13 past. Pena not able to clear there on that restart. It's going to be really tough here for the inside. Yes, also have Quentin Stewart up here. He could get closer to that back bumper of the 15 and probably push this outside past them. But he's leaving a lot in front of him here. Room in front of the 99. They're still somehow able to get one car ahead. Also, not a lot of reason to push the issue, I think, right now, as they both do get clear. Stays up to the outside. 15 is going to get it going. 14 all over the back bumper of Quentin Stewart. That's CJ Gates. Winner at Indianapolis a season ago. And left out to dry in the sucker home for the 15. Yates going to fall back through this field. Trying to find a hole anywhere. He has one to the inside, but drifts up the track. Position here. Battle for the lead heats back up though. Britt Allen gets back to the point. And you can thank Clayton Stewart for another lap led here on lap 32. Now going on 33. Just about at that halfway mark. Down the backstretch, Stewart drops to the inside, says he wants a lap lead, and he'll go get it. It's going to be probably an entire corner before the 13 can get that momentum back, and CJ Gates takes the 99 all the way to the lead. No contest here on lap 33. Quentin Stewart's going to lead his first lap of the day. Stretch outside finally gets going again. The 6 of Daniel Molnix has found his way up to that high line with the 13 of Brent Allen. They're going to try from the front again. Meanwhile, you've got the second group starting to develop on the outside. The 17 is in there of Mike Petrin. He could get something going with the 11 if he wants to really push the issue. Stewart leads another time by a tenth of a second. You can see what a run these cars get. This is max throttle all the way around this place when you're in a run like this, but it's the guys up front that create the checkups. Because they're pushing, because they're bump drafting, they get that surge of speed, pulls the cars in line with them. But the longer that car is stuck behind, and you can see that grill inlet not getting any air on Brent Allen's car. Eventually, reach a temperature over 265 degrees Fahrenheit. And for Brent Allen, that's the warning spot where this engine could fail. He needs to pull out, breathe that car. You can see right through the trioval, moves it out to the right-hand side of the 6 to get a little bit of air. Just before he pushes into turn 1, you'll see him breathing again here up near the wall. 13 doing everything he can to try to get that 6 up front. Eventually, temperature is going to be a factor. Stewart leads another time by, 4 laps shy of the halfway mark. Time by it was Daniel Molnix for a lap lead. First one for him today. Yeah, Brent Allen and Quentin Stewart, who are teammates at Cavalier Racing. Daniel Molnix been in motorsports up there by himself right now. Petrin a little bit further back in 11th, not able to get up there and help him. Also have a mix of Nicholas Caldwell racing up here. Waylon Turner in that mix as well. The number 1 sitting back here. A big check up there on the inside and an evasive maneuver. on board with the 1. He just picked up about 5 positions there. Turner moving through this field quickly. The inside line falls apart. 99 of Quentin Stewart. I'm not sure where he went exactly. Looks like he falls back to about the 5th position. A lot of checking up going on out here on the outside and inside rows, and I think temperatures are the factor here. Ryan Philbrick to the point. 13 of Brent Allen drops down, and now it looks like the 99 and the 13 can finally work together instead of against each other. Big push here from the 13 to the 06. I think he has something planned for Ryan Philbrick. I believe the 99 is going to get up on the back bumper here just momentarily. But look through a shot through the middle here. I believe that's the 63 machine. Tony Brennan. Let's go back on the replay there and watch that move. Well, the angle that I had there, it looked like he had worked his way 3 wide, but back to the live shot. Now has the 14 of CJ Gates trying to go up and lead his first laps of the day. Lap traffic going to be a factor here. That's the 54 of Alan Dobbs. Right on board with CJ Gates. It's about to get really narrow here. 54 has to keep it down low. This pack envelops him into 3 and 4. The 6 of Molnex drops down to the bottom line, all over the back bumper of Jesse Gordon. Gordon touches the apron, gets a little loose there. Philbrick holds on to the point. That's the halfway mark here in Daytona. Race number 1, the QSR Chase for the Cup Next Gen Series. For the top spot. A pinch down in 3 and 4 to pull the side draft off of the 06. And Gates looks like he might prevail here. He has a big shove from the 63 across that stripe. Just enough there for Philbrick that he gets that lap led. It looked like Brent Allen gave him a little shot there just before the line. And into these corners, it looks like the outside is still a little bit faster on the entry. A little bit of a moment there for the 43. That's actually a car in the wall here. I think that was Costner who got into that wall, and the whole field storms by. He was having some connection issues here. He's completely dropped out of the session. We're almost having another moment here with the 63 and the 97. That's Clement, labeled as the 43, is actually the 97 on the roster. He's been kind of flirting with that left rear quarter panel, and I don't think anybody wants to work with him. He's all over the place, and there it is. Loses control across the tri-oval. And maybe a little in over his head there on the push. Got stuck in the middle. He'll catch some hang time here down on the apron. And that brings out another caution. And this was a couple different instances here with the 43. He was given some really bad pushes to the back of the 63. It's a wonder it didn't happen sooner. And just kind of gets that whiskey throttle, a little bit of panic steer through the tri-oval. Actually got moved there. A couple cars hit him on the door. You get sent in the middle like that fast. We gotta find an angle of that. Maybe a little netcode here that causes that car to bounce. It looked like he was keeping his wheel pretty straight. Right here, this is where you're gonna see a lot of hang time for the 43, and unfortunately, looks like race ending there for that driver. Well, don't go anywhere. We still have plenty of coverage left to do. We'll have about 30 laps to go when we go back green. It stops just about to be underway for the top 20. You're watching QSR Chase for the Cup in the Next Gen Series live on V-Speed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Digital engines roar, lights go green in this virtual world. I'm a racing machine, core, sort of racing, chasing that dream. Tracks blend to pixels, lap count screen. Tires burn neon night, ain't no stop. Sweat drips like raindrops, top of the crop. Controller, clutch tighter, never flop. Speed on my mind to the last pit stop. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the heroes to heroes, this crew grew. Next generation champions will break through. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the top of the stack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack. Eyes on the prize, we light up the track. Throttle in hand, fail can't hold us back. From the virtual streets to the top of the stack. In the QSR chase, we got no slack.
Back here live at Daytona. 5 cautions and 16 lead changes here today. Just shy of 30 laps to go here for this restart, and into the Turn 1 Tsunamis restart zone. We go back, green flag racing. Ryan Philbrick, the command car, gets out to quite a gap here. Don't know if this is going to pan out well for him. That might be too much of a jump. Into Turn 1, Gates is going to have any lane he wants, and he will. He'll go to the outside, but Brent Allen's going to stay with the 06. And that is surprising. Gates could have taken the lead. But he instead gets left out to dry. He gets left out to dry big time here. Oh! Contact! They're still holding on to it. It's Rick Regal, and it'll go sideways to C85. Wyatt Walker goes around. Back on the instant replay here. You can see a check up there with the 14, and I'm not sure. Looks like the 35 went to his outside on the check up there. I have to ask where he was going to go. I know I'm sounding a little bit critical of some of these guys, but this is it's our 6th caution and probably like 4 in a row here. We still have a lot of racing left to be done. And Austin Thomas probably didn't want to lift off the throttle, had all that momentum build up, but really there's nowhere to go there on that outside, and currently running in the 14th position. That's all I have to say about that. So back to the live shot here with Ryan Philbrick, Brent Allen, Jesse Gordon, and Greg Pillar. Daniel Molnack's at top 5. We're going to pull CJ Gates down into the broadcast booth here. Let's see if we can dial in the 14 machine. CJ Gates, it's Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, CJ, they left you out to dry there. I thought for sure that Brent Allen would go with you. Philbrick had jumped out to almost 3 car lengths on that restart. You guys had the momentum out of 2. Instead, you get left out to dry and fall back to the 10th position. Is that surprising to you?
Yeah, I was definitely a little surprised by that, but it is what it is.
Well, it seems like as these races progress, it starts to everyone gets a little bit more selfish. Seems like right now for you, it's going to be a matter of can you find a friend out there to work your way to the front?
I gotta tell you, there ain't no friends out here.
Well, I see up there in the race chat, I know those couple of those guys are actually out for the day. But you got Brennan up there, who's been pretty good. He'll be restarting just behind you there in the 63.
Well, hopefully somebody will work with me. It'd be nice to have some help. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to do what I can and try to get to the front.
All right. Well, anybody you want to shout out while we have you up in the broadcast booth?
Shout out to QSR and V-Speed. You guys are awesome. Good to be back racing with you guys.
Appreciate your time. CJ Gates will be restarting in the top 10. We're on lap 54, I believe. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So just outside that top 10, you have Ethan Wisnowski and Mike Petrin trying to work their way through. Wisnowski, who had to burn that fast repair earlier in this race, said he was going to sit back, but I think now you're at the point in that race where sitting back's not going to work anymore. You have to go up there and take a gamble and hopefully avoid any more carnage here tonight. We'll have under 30 laps to go. We'll be sitting right about 25 when we go back green. It's a double back up this time by. We'll get the 1 to go signal. iRacing pace car lights will go out. So Brent Allen has led probably the most laps here today. There's been a few drivers that's remained up here in this top 3 all night long. Greg Pillar has had a recovery, up 13 spots. Remember, Greg Pillar was sideways on the infield there at one point, number 32. Has an opportunity here on this restart to push the 13 past for the lead. Have to wait to see who gets the jump here, as the 06 is the command car. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for Brent Allen, but if you saw that last restart where the 06 got out to quite a gap ahead of this field, and we just talked to CJ Gates on that move. Thought for sure he was going to get by him. Daytona is definitely one of those racetracks where you don't want to jump out ahead of the field. It's an easy way to get freight trained. Thankfully for him, Brent Allen picked him up. Had they all decided to go one after another around him, there was pretty much nothing he could do about it. That car was not up to speed. Had 0 draft help through the entry of 1 all the way to the exit of 2 before someone finally got to his bumper. And we're talking about probably a good 5-6 mile per hour difference on the exit of turn 2. So he's going to have to gauge these restarts accordingly. It's not like a mile and a half where you can jump out to a big lead and maintain it. These guys very reliant on aero to keep these cars up to speed. Green flag back underway. A little bit better restart. Not a good one on the outside though. And it looks like Pillar did not get it going. It's going to be a long time here before the 13 gets any help. In fact, I believe the 10 might clear on the inside if he wants it. He doesn't take it just yet. But Jesse Gordon could go up high if he wanted to in front of the 13. He'll stay low, push the 06. Millbrick has had help every one of these restarts so far. Move to the outside now for the 6. Molnex moves up. No help yet, and Philbrick leads another time by. Starting to compete with the most laps led. He now has 15. And Allen loses that most laps led. He's trying to get it going with Daniel Molnex, but they just can't get anything sped up here. Down that back straightaway, though, it looks like maybe ahead of steam. 32 of Pillar really needs to get up on the bumper. Don't lean on the 13, but needs to get closer if they want any chance of progressing this outside line. That 32 needs to shave off about 2 or 3 feet in front of him here. And Gordon moves up to the outside for a moment there. Thought Jesse Gordon was going to come up in front of the 6. Molnex moves out, takes over the point, drops down in front of Ryan Philbrick. Philbrick has been kind of holding on to this lead with 4 or 5 different pushers. They surge out almost 2 car lengths ahead of this second group now. And holding on to the outside. You got some drivers on the move. The 5 has fallen back to 15th here. It's getting more and more turbulent for this top 5. To the outside for Allen. Pinion on the bottom. The 8 of Austin Dowdy giving the push. On board with Austin Dowdy. And a little bit loose there. Trying to get it going. Outside prevails. They'll drop back to the 3rd car line as they try to chase down that top 3. Big head of steam here for the 8. Push off the throttle a little bit. Car could take it to the outside if he wants it. He does not. There he does now. 32 could give him the shove. Greg Pillar on the back bumper. Let's see if they can get it going to the front. They cannot. Looks like Greg Pillar maybe has that force feedback turned up a little bit too high. Every touch that he got there from the 99 of Quentin Stewart almost sent that car around. A little more dampening, a little less feedback goes a long way to super speedway. Makes those bumps a little less harsh. Makes it a little easier to hold your line as well. The wheel doesn't get quite so heavy into the entries of the corners. The 15 of Yates back to the top 5. It's actually up to 6 now. He's going to get by on the outside. Dowdy has no help here. Looks like the 32 can't get it going, and they're going to continue to fall. Car jumps up in front of the 8. It's a 63 machine. Tony Brennan. He's going to have help now from the 8 car. Let's see if they can go up to the front. Outside. Riding on board with the 63. Thing's been a handful for some of these guys, and you can see that pushing is not their strong suit. They can ride in line, but when it comes to getting on the back bumper and getting these cars going, seems like there's a handful of guys that just push a little bit better. And they're keeping it up front right now. The 6 of Molnex, Philbrick. As my telemetry has completely locked itself up here. Gotta love that. Oh, and the 85's around again. We have another caution. Walker has had problem after problem here tonight. White Walker here on the inside. This is about the 10th position. And Dowdy comes down, gets a piece of the door. Dowdy, maybe a bad push there in the 63 and thought he was getting loose, came down to avoid it. Came down into the 85 there. That'll bring out another caution here tonight. With under 20 laps to go, White Walker falls to the back of this field. He'll be back in 20th position. Daniel Molnek still your leader. Ryan Philbrick, Jesse Gordon, Brent Allen, and Tristan Pena in the number 50. Wisnowski has worked his way up to 9th. Austin Downey holding strong in 10th position. Not sure if they're going to give him a EOL penalty on that or not. Lap car going by there. Moldika, I'm going to have to get the pronunciation here for the 98. But it looks like he's using the backstretch chicane for whatever reason. This will be our 8th restart or 8th start of the day with 17 lead changes. Coming up on about an hour and a half of racing now. Comers and goers of this top 10, most of them were outside of the top 10 to start the day out. Drivers like Daniel Molnex, Ryan Philbrick, Tristan Pena, Mike Petrin were all outside of that to start this race out. You have drivers just outside the top 10 that started even further back. Quentin Stewart, Austin Dowdy. Dowdy actually down 8 positions. It's Waylon Turner who's gained some here. Timing and scoring is just a little bit confused here tonight. And our ticker will update as they cross the start-finish line. Unfortunately, here for our timing screen, if we restart ATVO, we're going to lose our laps led. Track of where these guys started to where they finished. So we're gonna ride this out here on V-Speed, and it's not really certain. It's some kind of glitch in the background that ATVO is yet to sort out with an update. We've kind of been battling it randomly throughout the last few months. All the information on your screen will be corrected every time they cross that start-finish line. Let's go back green with 16 laps to go now. Pace car's off. 16 to go at the stripe. Turn 1 Tsunamis, restart zone, back underway at Daytona. And the Next Gen Series with 24 cars still on the racetrack. Philbrick and Molnex go side by side for this restart. Better restart there for Philbrick. He'll drop down in front of the 6, leaves the 13 out to dry. Where does the 15 go? Looks like the 10 was trying to get up to the outside. And the 6 of Molnex gets him going. Couple car lengths out ahead. Trying to avoid some stuff here. Back here with the 54 in the middle. I believe Alan Dobbs got his lap back. He's 3 wide coming out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Has Dowdy to the bottom. It's actually Austin Thomas. They settle out that 3 wide in the 20. Pillow trying to push the 54 up there, but the top 10 is checked out. They've left these guys. Ethan Wisnowski up to 6th position in this breakaway pack. Stuck with the draft. He's on the back of Mike Petrin. We're coming up on 10 laps to go. An opportunity can present itself for any one of these drivers. 3rd on back. Philbrick leads another time by. The second group has fallen out. Almost 2 full seconds. It's actually 2.4. Back here for the 9th position of Dobbs. You're not going to see live scoring until these guys cross that stripe, but they lost almost a full second in just that lap. See what it's at this time around. Dobbs crosses that stripe. It looks like this time by, that lead has grown another 0.3 for this top group. Brent Allen trying to make something happen on the outside. Not going to happen here. Pull the 15 back, and they might lose the draft from that move. Meanwhile, Philbrick, Molnex had a problem here. Daniel Molnex is going to fall back. I don't know if he lost power, maybe overheated the engine a little bit here. Look back on an instant replay. He had a connection issue. He blinks out. Comes back live. He's back to 8th. So he might have been the thing holding this all together up here and keeping these guys up front. a couple seconds, but him falling back. We'll have 10 laps to go when we cross that line. This time by, it looks like 8th position, Daniel Molnex has caught back up a little bit. Waylon Turner, we're getting it going now. Catching up to this top 7 or 8 cars. It doesn't help that Brent Allen keeps going to the outside of the 15. That is pulling these guys back. It is not helping at all. Keeps jumping to that outside. He's pulling the side draft off of Brandon Yates, and it's slowly pulling the back of this line further and further back to that second group. And if you're Brent Allen right now, there's no reason to do that. Fortunately for Molnex, he had that connection issue. Because Brent Allen's doing that repeatedly, it's pulling the tail end of this line back here and giving these guys the draft. They have caught up. And now Brent Allen's going to get buried in this field. These guys are all going to go to the outside. Continues to lead, but Daniel Molnex surges back to the top 5. He's to the outside of Wisnowski, but he loses his draft partner, blown engine. I believe that was the 35. He's popped the engine. Austin Thomas done for the day. Momentum on the outside. Doesn't look like it was enough there. Now the 13 goes up to fill that void. The 6 was almost to the top 3. Oh, big check up there. The 5 of Wisnowski trying to go to the outside of Mike Petrin. On board here with Ethan Wisnowski. And he tried to move there just a moment ago to go middle. Petrin moved up in front of him. CJ Gates drops down in front of the 17. Everyone leaving the 13 of Brent Allen out to dry. And Allen has the 6 car on his back bumper. Can they get it going? Daniel Molnex trying to push him past with a 2-car run. 5 laps to go. They cross the line. Ryan Philbrick has led 27 laps now at Daytona in race number 1. I don't know if I'd want to be the lead car, though, when that white flag comes out. Trying to sort it out back there behind these guys. Car coming into pit road. 4 laps left. and he's trying to find a line, anybody that'll work with him here. He was up front for 14 laps earlier in this race, and it's been a while since he's seen the lead. Here they go to the front, though. Big head of steam on the outside. Daniel Monex to the lead. All we need is that white flag in the air. This race will be official. 3 laps left. They single file out again. CJ Gates there, drops to the inside. Trying to pull a draft. You've got a bump there in the middle. That's Wisnowski on the back end of David Killoff. Big head of steam here to the back of the 54. Unfortunately for the 54, he has damage. He drops down in front of these guys. 17 gets it going. But they're losing this group up here. Top 5 have split away. Oh, and the 20 drops down in front of the 5 of Wisnowski. Caution's out. When he drifts up the racetrack here, we're going to get a look at this from the blimp camera. He had a push from the 5. It was pretty mild. But he drifts up the racetrack and then comes back down in front of the 5 car. There's a little bit of a touch there. Drifts up the track, then cups across the nose of the 5 into CJ Gates and into the outside wall. Will these drivers have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race at green-white checkered territory? Some of these guys might be a little bit short. We'll have to wait and see. I don't see any takers so far. 20 is going to come down and get some of that damage repaired. A couple others going to follow through. It's the 00. Randy Saleh. Daniel Molnax will be your leader on this first green-white checkered attempt of the night. Who's going to go with who on this restart? I don't know if we've seen the end of the carnage. We've got the damage machine of Alan Dobbs there that could probably push, but when he gets into the front of these guys, it's almost like pushing a brick wall. That damage on the front end of that Camry is going to hinder him from hitting top speed if he is the lead car. See, it's really caved in there. If we look off the back of Jesse Gordon's machine, we'll double back up now, this time by. Holnix, Turner, Allen, Philbrick, Gordon, your top 5 for this restart now. And I was trying to get, maybe try to refresh this timing and scoring. It doesn't look like it's going to work, though, and it's unfortunate here for this finish, because really wanting that to work. Oh, it's gotten a lot more interesting, though, with this restart and how these guys have been kind of aggressive all race long. I don't think we've seen the end of the wrecks. We're going to have our first attempt here tonight of overtime in race number 1. Molnix, Turner, front row. Green flag's out, back underway. The outside, takes over the point, maybe a missed shift there for Molnex, and he'll get a big surge with the 06 of Ryan Philbrick giving him the shove. Meanwhile, the pack splits off yet again. The 10 of Gordon in the 6th position pulls ahead, and they start to lead CJ Gates and a few others back here with the 50 of Pena. Can they get it going in time? Big bump there by the 15 into the back of the 5. If we're going to have a caution, it's going to happen here. They cannot get these cars up to speed. Gates a little wiggly through the tri-oval. They're still sideways. And there goes Gates. And a big crash here. White flag is out, though. It's official. And Waylon Turner keeps it going. I don't think the 54 of Dobbs has anything for him with Gates, but the 06 moves to the outside. A block there from the 1. And they're going to carry on into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Daniel Molnex to the bottom. Molnex to the inside. Doesn't have help. Big block on the 13. And it looks like Waylon Turner is going to be victorious at Daytona by 5/4 of a second. It's actually Alan Dobbs that gets the victory. How did that happen? Visually, it looked like Waylon Turner got that win. I don't know how Alan Dobbs, with that damage, was able to get by on the outside. We got to go back and take a look at this. back us up a little bit further and see if we can get a good shot of it here. Not sure exactly where this best camera angle will be, but wow. That right there. That's it. That is it right there. Waylon Turner loses by 4/1000ths of a second. And that's at the stripe right there. See if I can zoom in a little bit here. Don't really have the best camera angle of this at the start-finish line. But this is probably as close as it gets, right here. And even with the caved-in front end, phenomenal finish there by Alan Dobbs. It's not too often here on V-Speed that I miss the mark on who got the victory, but fantastic day there. With a damaged race car, was able to get the victory. Post-race interviews with your top three and those final race results coming up. We're going to take a quick commercial break while we gather that information. You are watching QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup live on V-Speed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live at Daytona, QSR Simulations and their Next Gen Series have concluded their 80 laps with a slight extension of 4 laps here at Daytona. Final results up on your screen. 21 lead changes with 8 cautions here today. Alan Dobbs is going to get the victory by 4/1000ths of a second over Waylon Turner, who started on the pole here today. Daniel Molnex with the top 3. Ryan Philbrick, Jesse Gordon, the top 5. We'll get a word with that top 3 in just a moment. Brent Allen will finish in 6th spot with Nicholas Caldwell in 7th. Tristan Pena in 8th position. Christian Ruck-Riegel and John Lodika in the 10th spot. Tony Brennan will finish in 11th with Ethan Wisnowski in 12th, Galen Wunsch in 13th, Austin Dowdy in 14th, Brandon Yates in 15th, Wyatt Walker 16th, Randy Saleh 17th, David Killall in 18th, Quentin Stewart will finish in 19th, CJ Gates falls all the way back to the 20th spot. Mike Peter will finish 21st, Michael Costner in 22nd, Greg Pillar 23rd, Austin Thomas in 24th, John Walker 25th position, Taylor Clement in 26th spot. Michael O'Neill, early exit here today. Larry McLean in 28th. Clellan, it's going to take me a minute. Ronnie Joyner rounding out your field. But with that, we're going to bring up our top three. First driver that we're going to pull up here into the broadcast booth is your third place finisher, Daniel Molnex. Daniel, I saw a lot of door checks, a lot of blocking, a lot of movement there in that last restart, but you're able to bring it home in the top three somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I almost didn't because I don't know what lap it was, but like my internet like blinked out or something. I was running second and I showed back up like ninth, and there was a big gap between me and the front pack, and I was like, oh man, we got to go. And then me and it might have been Waylon or somebody, we got hooked up and we just rolled straight to the front. And then the caution came out. I had control of the restart, and I didn't want to jump it, like early in the box and get a huge lead just to get pounced on by the time we get off of turn 2. So I was, kind of wanting to go later in the box, pretty much when the green was going to throw itself. And Brent Allen, he had rolled up to me, getting into the zone, and then just like backed way off or something. And that kind of screwed me because the outside lane was hooked up and they just went right on around me. And at that point, I knew something was going to have to happen just for me to even stand a chance. And on the backstretch, something did. And I just got what I could get out of it.
Well, we watched you guys split away there with about 10 to go. You had about 7 cars that had broke away from the rest of the field, and you said your internet blinked out. Had that not happened, do you think that maybe that scenario changes with the caution coming out because you fell back there, and then it seemed like that second pack really started to surge?
Yeah, I think so. Because whenever I blinked out, it just left a huge gap between first and third. So that kind of slowed that whole line down. But had it not happened and we just kind of stayed single file, eventually somebody was going to make a move, and that's how it is at the end of these. I still can't luck up and win one of them, not one, but it was fun though. I'll say that it was a lot of fun.
Well, we have you back in the broadcast booth here on VSP. Daniel Molnex, third place here at Daytona, race number 1 in the next gens. Anybody you want to shout out?
B-Speed putting this on. It's been a hot minute since y'all put anything on. That's since we had a fairly long off season. All the guys in here, had you seen any of the preliminary races and the practice races, you would have been like, oh man, we're not broadcasting this, it's junk. But everybody cleaned it up for the most part. I mean, there was a few incidents that probably could have been avoided. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff could have been avoided, I'm sure. QSR, all the admin team, we work hard to put on the best product that we can for you guys. And everybody at Venom Motorsports.
Daniel Molnex, third place here in race number 1. We look forward to seeing you next week, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
With that, we move on to our second place finisher, and I'm sure this one probably isn't what he was expecting. Coming across the line out of turn 4, the damaged car of Dobbs goes to your outside. I thought you had it in the bag. I even put it up on the graphic. I thought you won this race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, going into the race, that was obviously the plan. But I mean, when you got to decide between a win and a 1-2 finish with a teammate, I mean, I'm not going to pull an Austin Cindric in that situation. I'm not going to sacrifice him. I mean, I'm happy with a second place finish. I don't have any plans currently to race here full time, so I'm happy to take a second place and give it to someone who, obviously is going to be able to utilize the win way more than me.
Well, you go 4 1,000ths of a second. It's one of the closest finishes we've had here on VSP. We seem to get a lot of those here at QSR. But talk a little bit about the start of your race compared to, the middle section. It seemed like there was just a lot of highs and lows all the way through this event.
I mean, that's super speedway racing for you. I mean, you can't go into one of these races expecting everything to either go good or, everything go bad. I mean, there's always going to be the ups and downs every race you do. But I definitely had a string of bad luck there for a bit. I got caught up into a couple of those wrecks. Fortunately enough, didn't have to use my fast repair, so I was able to just keep it on its first string, and I was able to just stay in the pack, try to utilize who I could, my teammates, to try to get back over the front, and just right there at the end, I was right where I needed to be.
Well, Waylon, I know you said you're not going to expect to be full time in this series. Can we expect to see you back though next week?
I love Auto Club. I hate that it's no longer raced IRL. It's one of my top 5 tracks, so good odds of seeing me next week, but nothing's guaranteed. Being a full-time parent and full-time working.
Full time working. I can see right there. You're taking care of him right now. So,
Oh yeah.
we appreciate you coming up into the booth. Though, is there anybody that you have in mind to shout out for tonight's performance?
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank my family, my wife, and my kids for putting up with me and being able to take time out of my evening to be able to do this. I know it's a lot of stress and such on the family right now with us, being a little sick and having to deal with an infant and everything. And I know my wife does a lot, and I'm very thankful for everything she provides me. And secondly, I'd like to be able to thank Nicholas and the rest of Nicholas Caldwell Racing for letting me join up with them this season, and they've been wonderful. A lot of good vibes there, a lot of in-house shit talking. It's a great environment. I love the guys; they're an amazing group of people. And lastly, I'd like to be able to thank Quentin and the rest of the QSR crew for putting on a hell of a show. I know there's a lot of ups and downs every week, but overall, it's good racing once you have the right people in it. And I look forward to every race.
Waylon Turner, second place, 4/1000ths of a second in race number 1. Maybe we'll see you next week.
Hopefully.
And finally, we go to Victory Lane, where Alan Dobbs in the 54 gets his first win of the season in race number 1. Closest finish I think we've seen in a next-gen car in quite some time here, Alan, and you did it with a caved-in front end. I think it probably would have been closer to 100th of a second if the nose on that car was fully extended out.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know where I picked that damage up. The only thing I can think of is that car that the engine blew up in front of me. I probably picked up some netcode damage from him, or I was surprised to learn that I had damage.
Alan, I got you cranked all the way to 200 here. Very, very quiet microphone, if you wouldn't mind bumping that up just a little bit here.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I got you much better now.
All right, I just put the microphone closer.
Okay, so you said that you didn't know where you picked up that damage.
Yeah, I think it might have came from that car that blew up in front of me on the back stretch. I think I might have got some netcode damage from him or something, but I was surprised when I was told that I had damage because I didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, and we watched you there on the outside. You were the lead car when that front group had split away. You had got to the outside. It just seemed like anybody that was trying to work with you, if you were a lead car. So I was really surprised that when you stepped out there in the tri-oval, that car still had enough momentum. Usually with that front end being like that, it hinders its ability. But the side draft, whatever the factor may be, what do you think set that up to where you were able to get that last second pass?
Yeah, the side draft definitely pulled him back. I mean, even if I'm super slow, if I can get to the quarter panel of somebody, it's going to make them slow down no matter what. And then, Daniel came up. He gave me some really good pushes there those last few laps. And between his momentum and the side draft, I think it allowed me just to barely get by. I wasn't trying too hard to fight for the win. That was a teammate that was out in front, and I'm just glad we got 1-2 finish. Nobody wrecked. We all get to go next week not mad at each other.
Congratulations on the victory and a phenomenal drive there through the tri-oval. Anybody you want to shout out or thank for your victory here at Daytona?
Just shout out to my beautiful wife for her good luck kisses. They're always useful. My teammates over at NCR, Quentin Stewart, all the admins here, all the drivers came out, and help us put on these races every week. And appreciate you for the broadcast. Can't wait to watch it back. Might be a little slow in some parts with all those cautions, but I think there was a lot of good racing too.
Yeah, we had our moments here tonight. You know, I apologize to anybody that I might have gave some criticism or analysis to. But after, 7-8 cautions, sometimes you see things and you just got to point it out. Outside of that, though, it was phenomenal, and I think the finish made up for all of it. Alan, appreciate your time. Hopefully we see you next week at Auto Club.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Alan Dobbs, victorious, week 1, the QSR Chase for the Cup, Next Gen Series. Well, that's going to do it for here. We're going to say so long to Daytona and move on to next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night. That'll be February 18th. You can catch us here on V-Speed for week number 2 in the Chase for the Cup. For everybody here at V-Speed, though, that makes this possible, all the people that go around in the background, Quentin Stewart running QSR, Adam Baker, founder of V-Speed, our other producers, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, Eddie Smith, Christian Hill, and DJ Lyon. It's Bradley Cooper telling you so long from the Sunshine State. We'll see you in 1 week's time. Stay tracking.